So testing, 1, 2, testing.
Southside Weekly Radio.
This is ridiculous.
The Stoop, a live storytelling event in Humboldt Park, recently celebrated its 5th year anniversary. And now in its 5th year, the Stoop has expanded to Pilsen.
On Friday, listeners piled into Casa Calle 20 on Cullerton. It was standing room only as storytellers shared their most vulnerable stories with friends and strangers.
Lily B., the creator of the Stoop, says her series is meant to keep people on their toes.
The Stoop ain't about making you comfortable. We're not here to make you comfortable. We're here to share stories of people and places or of experiences that you're not going to hear honestly on the radio. You're not going to hear it even on like the riskiest of podcasts out there, because we don't curate the show like that. Every one of our features tonight is someone that sat in my workshop and said at one point, I don't know if I could ever tell a story on stage. Our goal here is to help share these stories in hopes that people connect, because I feel like we are missing that in our world. Like, we do a lot of like quote unquote connecting on the internet, but talking face to face is something we don't do anymore. We're not having conversations with each other. We are not asking each other questions to understand each other better. We are allowing our stories to be written on from the outside.
Here's one story from Stoop featured storyteller Yvette Marie, who will have you rethinking the term YOLO.
It's Halloween 2011. It's a Monday, and I took churros to work because, I'm a cool coworker like that. And so I took churros, and I get to work, and I sit at my desk, and my heart starts racing. And it feels really weird. It's like as if I had just sprinted, but I wasn't doing anything. I was just sitting at my desk, and my heart starts racing, and I'm thinking, oh, this is not good. I'm going to call my doctor. So I call my doctor, and I tell him what's happening, and he's like, well, take your pulse. What's your heart rate? And he's like, I can't do that. And he's like, well, you don't know how? And I'm like, no, it's going too fast. And so he's asking me a couple more questions. He's like, where are you at? I was like, I'm in downtown Chicago. He's like, all right, I need you to get to Northwestern ER. I'm going to let them know you're on your way. I'm like, okay. So I take the churros to a meeting, but I don't go to the meeting. I just drop the churros off, and I tell everyone, I'll be right back. And I don't tell anybody anything. I don't even have a churro, and they were warm. And so I leave the office. I go downstairs. I'm on the street, and I was thinking like, well, I'll take a bus or the train. But I was like, wow, my heart's really racing, and it's feeling like my heart's going to fly out of my mouth. That's how fast it's going. And so I decide, well, that might not be a good idea, because, like, what if this gets worse and I lose consciousness and I'll get robbed? So I'm not going to take the bus or the train. I'll take a cab. But this is before Uber, and I don't have any cash on me, and my heart's racing, and I need cash. So I walk a block feeling like this. I walk a block to the gas station. I get some cash, and now I'm on Clark Street, and Clark is headed southbound, and I need to go to Northwestern, and that's north. And if I catch a cab on Clark, then the cab's going to have to go around the block, and I'm going to have to pay extra, and I'm a cheap ass, and I don't want to do that. So with my heart racing, I walk to Dearborn, and I catch a cab going the right way. And so I'm in the cab, and it's a very short ride, but I disassociate from my life for a moment, and I just don't focus on not feeling well, and I just look at my phone, and I reply to group text messages to my mom and my brother. I don't tell them I'm in a cab on my way to the ER. It was just, whatever group text message stuff that we always do. And then I even play a few turns on Words with Friends, because I don't like to keep people waiting, and so I play my turns, and then the cab arrives to the ER, and I'm getting out of the cab, and my phone rings, and I answer it, and it's my doctor, and he's like, where are you? I'm like, I just got out of the cab. I'm about to walk in the ER. He's like, you took a cab? You didn't take an ambulance? And he's yelling at me, and so we start bickering back and forth, and I'm like, you didn't tell me to take an ambulance. And, I'm like, I gotta go. I'm gonna go inside. And so I hang up on him, and I gotta tell you that my doctor and I are very close, because he's my cardiologist, and he's been my doctor since I'm a little kid. And he likes to lecture me and scold me, and I like to be a sassy teenager and roll my eyes and ask him if I could do things that he's like, no, I don't think that's a good idea. And so we kind of have this relationship. And so I get into the ER, and they're waiting for me because he called them and told them I was on my way. And I have a rare congenital heart defect, and so it's kind of like one of those things that doctors are always very excited to see me because, they don't get to see anybody with Shown syndrome. And so they were waiting for me, and they are literally undressing me in the waiting room, and I'm like, some privacy, please. And so they put me in a little cubby, and they hooked me up to all these machines, and they're telling me that my heart is racing at 254 beats per minute. And it doesn't feel good when it's going that fast. So then they tell me, well, we're going to need to do this procedure called cardioversion. And I'm thinking to myself, cardioversion, that sounds like a class at the gym I would never take. And I asked, what is this? I'm like, what does this mean? And they say, well, we're going to restart your heart. And I'm like, well, how do you do that? And they're like, well, we're going to give you an injection that's going to stop your heart, and then we're going to give you another injection to restart it. I'm thinking, does it always restart? And they said, most of the time. So, in that moment, I'm thinking, oh, so today I die. And I just have this visualization of my tombstone with Halloween as the death date, and how I'm going to ruin it for my nieces. I'm like, God, this sucks. Like, I didn't wake up today thinking, I'm going to die. So, they're getting ready to do everything, and they're prepping me for this. And I say, oh, I need to make a phone call, because I thought, well, I should probably call my mom or my brother and let them know. And they're like, there's no time. I'm like, there's no more time. Like, wow. So I'm thinking, well, this is really serious. Okay, just brace yourself. And so I start thinking about my life. And they give me the first injection, and I'm watching the heart monitor, and it goes flat. And my heart has stopped. And here's the thing. When your heart stops, your brain is still going. And I'm thinking, and my mind is racing. And I'm thinking about all the time I've wasted in my life. I'm thinking of all the would've, could'ves, and should'ves. I'm thinking about regret and remorse, things I never got to do. And it's a very sobering moment. And so here I am, and I'm like doing a synopsis of my life, and in like fast forward mode. And I'm thinking, wow, I've had a good life. A messed up childhood, but who doesn't have that? I've made a difference in my community, Pilsen, for 11 years. I've inspired others. I've traveled a bit. And so I was feeling pretty good. But you see, lately, at that point, my life was a little bit of a cluster. And I was in a relationship that was pretty bad. And I wanted out for some time, but I was feeling very stuck, and I didn't know how to get out of this. And now this is happening, and I'm probably going to die, and this is going to be the easiest way out of this relationship. So you see, 6 months prior, I had a life-saving heart surgery where they replaced 2 valves with titanium valves. And during surgery, cardiac aneurysm ruptured, and it left me on life support. And I survived all of that. And I went through cardiac rehab, and I was so hyper-focused on getting my life back, albeit my miserable life that I was not happy with. But that was all I knew, and that's what I focused on. And I survived everything to then be hit with cardiac depression. And cardiac depression is a type of depression that hits cardiac patients, and it comes after a major cardiac event. And it's much like regular depression because it tells you your life isn't worth living and you didn't deserve to survive. And so I was already miserable, and then you add this. So I spent many nights just wallowing in sadness and insomnia and a lot of sorrow. And I was doing nothing about trying to get help, of trying to fix my situation. I'd lost my happiness. And so now my heart is stopped, and I'm flat, and I'm going to die. And I think back to all those nights I'd laid awake kind of hoping that my heart would just stop. And now my wish is coming true. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I kind of want to take that back. And so they give me the second injection. My heart is supposed to start. And I'm looking, and it's not starting. And the doctors are acting frantic, and they're all running around, and they're checking things, and they're looking, and they're listening to me, and you can tell when they're nervous, and that makes me nervous. And so my eyes start welling up with tears, and I'm thinking, oh, I don't want to die. I changed my mind. Like, I know I haven't actually done anything to fix my life and be happy, and I haven't asked for help, and I haven't told anybody about any of this. And I will figure it out. I will ask for help, and I will get happy, and I will spread that everywhere. And like, just let me live. Just give me another moment. But as I'm thinking this, my head is getting light, and I'm losing focus, and my breaths are shallow, and my brain is realizing the heart's not working, and I'm about to shut off. And then everything went black, and it was over. I woke up a short time later, and the doctors had to use the paddles to resuscitate me. They had to use it twice, so 2 jolts, 300 joules of electricity. And I wake up, and I am feeling very tingly. It leaves burn marks. They don't show that part on TV. And my teeth were hurting. That is like the weirdest thing, too. And so I wake up, and I look to the left, and there's my brother. And I am forever the snarky older sister. And so I turn to him and I say, what the hell are you doing here? And he's like, me? What the are you doing here? You're in the hospital. You're in the ER. You sent me a text message 30 minutes ago. Where were you? I was like, oh, yeah. I was in the cab on the way here. And he's like, what? And then I thought about everything that had happened in the past 30 minutes. And how I needed to move forward. And I had made this plea with God or the universe, because it depends on the day. That I would, figure this out, and I would get out of this rut that I was in. And that's exactly what I did. And so this whole experience, what it always kind of makes me think of is the saying, YOLO, you only live once. Because you actually live every day. You only die once. Unless you're me, and you've died like a half a dozen times. And I'm happy to report that I am actually very happy in life right now. And thank you for listening.
That's Yvette, ladies and gentlemen.
The Stoop Pilsen is held on the last Friday of every month at Casa Calle Vente. They also host a storytelling workshop every Tuesday. Check out thestoop.us for more information.